David Wybenga, going to be teaching with picture books, and it's going to be 45 minutes. He's used picture books in his career for more than 30 years, first in social work in the US, and now in teaching English in Japan. He's contributed to various publications on picture books, and he's going to introduce some and demonstrate some activities and materials for us. So, David, please take it away.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'm just going to turn on my screen sharing and push go on my link. Let's see, where does that get us? Share. Not there yet, right? Okay, here we go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, how's that looking? Let me.
Yeah, it looks good. We can see it.
Okay. Somehow it started in the middle, so I'm going to roll back to the beginning. All right, hello everyone. My name is David. I teach primarily little kids now. I'm in Shiga Prefecture, Hikone City. I see a few of my friends here, so thank you for coming and being a part of this. Okay, here we are. So I want to answer three kind of questions. One is, what are a handful of picture books that you might use in your classroom? What do you do with them? And where do you find more? And keep talking about this topic. The obvious answer is I started a group on Facebook called the Picture Book Group. And I share a picture book I like every week. I invite other people to do the same, to comment, to discuss. And if there's something left you were wondering about at the end of the presentation, you can go to the Picture Book Group, ask me there, and I will answer anything. I want to share at least 10 things we can do with a picture book. Depending on the time, I have a few more things to share. And what are picture books? Your first image probably is when you were 3 or 4 or 5, going to the school library. Your teacher or the librarian read a book to you. That's what a picture book is. I want to expand that a little bit to go beyond traditional small kid illustration-driven stories. Also wordless books, comics and manga, picture and photo collections, books that are meant for adults but are picture books. An atlas is a picture book, a field guide, a flip book, a clip art collection, exhibition catalogs, one-panel cartoons. There are such a great variety of picture-based book resources that you can use in your classroom. And probably everyone here has a favorite book that you're using. Think beyond that, think to a different kind of book, and I'd like to show a few. The main thing, the most common thing I like to do with a picture book is what I call the encounter. And that is, you are showing the audience, showing your students a part of a book, a page of a book. You don't even have to read it, but you're showing them that picture and saying, what do you see? What do you know? What can you say? And you're getting from them their perception of it. Now, children are going to say the word in Japanese if they don't know the English word, and you can ask the group, what's that in English? A book I really love for this is called Food for Thought. It's a crazy book of a Dutch guy who learned how to create faces on fruit and vegetables. It's an all-in-one book. It has shapes and colors, numbers, letters, opposites. And here would be a sample picture that I'd show the students. What do you see? Now, they're going to come up with colors. Maybe they're going to come out with an orange or a green pepper, or they say, I like that, I don't like that. That's what you want. You're trying to get them to fall into the pages and tell you anything that they see. There are things to count, whether they say 3 or whether they say kidding or giraffe, ant, they may say cherry, 4. You're just trying to get them to encounter it and bring some feedback to you. but they're all ingenious pictures. They're something that kids want to look at, adults want to look at it. If you don't show them the whole thing, they will want to see the next page. But feel free to close the book, come back to it the next week. What do you do with a tale like this? Stephen Jenkins does books about science and nature, animals. This is a Caldecott honored book. It's good for body parts. He will say, here we go, what do you do with a nose like this? I want students to tell me, what do they see? Well, they see a nose. Maybe they can tell me what animal it is. On the next page, you can find what the animal is and what is that special thing that that nose can do. What do you do with a tail like this? Can they tell you these animals? And the next page shows us that tail. What do you do with feet? So it goes through several body parts, maybe 6 body parts. At the end of the book, there's a lot of scientific information about the animals, but the basic picture book is showing the body part. The kids can guess what the animal is and move on to the next body part. On holidays, I feel like it's a question to me, what do I actually want to accomplish in a Christmas lesson? And this is a good book for encountering. It's a cute pop-up book, and I'm going to show it. I'm not going to tell the story. Kids are going to tell me, oh, I see a cake. I see a teddy bear. I see Santa. I see plates. I see forks. So I have them tell me what they see. Going the other way around, you can start with what you want them to find. You can say, look for this in the book. Mamoko is a series, 3 books, I believe. They're jumbo size board books. And there are no words, they're just scenes where there are things to look at. Mainly they're actions, but you could tell them, find someone running, find something exciting, find something dangerous, find someone doing something. So you give them the thing to look for, and they're searching, like a Where's Wally, Where's Waldo kind of book. And fantastical scenes. Each page is a different color tone. Richard Scarry, he's been doing picture books for many, many years. They're a bit of the progenitors of the kind of books that we use nowadays. There are books about jobs, about people in society, lots of things to look for. A bit dated, but I think modern picture books are built on what we do. I'm going kind of fast because I want to move through a lot of things. There'll be time at the end to reflect and ask questions. What do you do with a picture book? The recall. This is reading a picture book to your group, and after that, having them pick up something and be able to answer a question. So I want to read this book from the beginning, My Friends by Gomitaro. I learned to walk from my friend the cat. I learned to jump from my friend the dog. I learned to climb from my friend the monkey. I learned to run from my friend the horse. I learned to march from my friend the rooster. I learned to nap from my friend the crocodile. I learned to smell the flowers from my friend the butterfly. I learned to hide from my friend the rabbit. I learned to explore the earth from my friend the ant. I learned to kick from my friend the gorilla. I learned to watch the night sky from my friend the owl. I learned to sing from my friends the birds. I learned to read from my friends the books. I learned to study from my friends the teachers. I learned to play from my friends at school. And I learned to love from a friend like you. First question I would ask is, how many friends are in this story? How many different friends? They're going to shout out, oh, there were 20. Oh, less than 20. Oh, there were 10, more than 10. Finally, we'll narrow in on 16. There were 16 friends. What friends do you remember? Oh, there was a cat. Yes, a cat. A dog. Yes, a dog. A zebra. No, there wasn't a zebra. So I'll ask them first to tell me how many, and then we'll move into what the friends were. And then maybe in the next lesson, move into what did the friends teach you, or teach the character. The dog taught how to run or jump, or play, or read. The call and response. The teacher says a line from or based on the picture book. The participants reply. Could be in the style of a chant or a song. Brown bear. I've heard different songs for brown bear, but brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird. So kids are saying, I see a red bird. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a blue horse. So the call and response. There are a few good books that do that. This is my favorite weather book. And I will sing, how's the weather? How's the weather? It's sunny. How's the weather? It's sunny. How's the weather? It's sunny. It's sunny today. How's the weather? It's rainy. How's the weather? It's windy. How's the weather? It's snowy. So you give the call and they respond depending on the weather that you're showing. Ketchup on your cornflakes, a great call and response book. Do you like toothpaste on your toast? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Do you like a duck on your cornflakes? No, I don't. Do you like a duck in your bath? Yes, I do. Do you like salt in your bed? No, I don't. Do you like ketchup on your toothbrush? Yes, I do. The structure. You have a phrase that you are bringing to them, and they are using the art to complete that phrase or structure. These are all open the flap puzzle books. So there'll be, for example, a picture of a lollipop, but a flap will pull open to show that it's actually a snake or a rabbit or a bear. And I'm going to use this to have them practice saying, is it something? They don't know. There may be a clue that they are using to create the response. For example, is it a bear? And I'll say, no, it isn't. Is it a monkey? No, it isn't. Is it a cat? Yes, it is. And then I open it up. The one that shows the pig's rear, that's a little bit different in that they all show the back end of the animal. So they can say, is it a pig? And I will open it and it will show the front. Yes, it is. But the others, the fruit, the flower, and the candy, those are not really easily guessed with that. But the structure, is it something? Yes, yes it is, no it isn't. Komitaro's ABC book. This is an A to Z collection of animals, people dressed up in animal costumes. And example here, a bear, a man and a bear. So the structure that I'll have them say is, he is a bear, or he is a man, he is a bear. She is a cat, she is a girl. She is a girl, she is a rabbit. He is a boy, he is a snake. He is a man, he is a panda. She is a girl, she is a bee. So there are 26 like that where they can make that sentence just by showing the picture and a little pre-teaching. He is a man, girl, boy, woman, and he or she is an animal. This is how we do it. It is a wonderful book for so many different reasons. I could have tucked it into any section, but I'm using it as a structure here. It's basically profiles of 7 kids around the world, what they eat, how they dress, what they do at school, what their house looks like, how do they play. For example, this is what they eat, what this each child does from Iran, Peru, Japan, Russia, India, Italy. You can encounter that. And then the students can say, I have, or I eat. This is how I play in Uganda, Russia, Italy. And they can answer, I'd like to play, or I play. This is what I wear from these 7 different countries. And they answer, I wear this, I wear uniform, or I wear jeans, or something like that. But it's a wonderful book. If you were to buy one book that I'm showcasing today, I would start with this one. So many things to do with it. The mat. Basically, you're taking a splash page from a book, photocopying it at 2 or 3 times size, and then laminating it. One reason is that the kids want to touch the books, but you're trying to keep them from doing that. You don't want them to smear it or rip it or tear it. That's inevitable, that will happen. But if there is a special page, you can make a copy and I'll put it on the floor. So for every 3 or 4 kids, I'll make one of them. So if I have a classroom of 26, maybe I have, 8 of them, they can crowd around that. Hello Kitty is a book about shapes. This is the splash page. It will have diamond, triangle, heart, circle, square. And either they can tell me what they see, or I will ask them, can you find a square? Can you find a crescent? But we now have closed the book and they're using it on the floor in this laminated sheet, which I don't care if they jump on it and tear it or stamp it. Pantone Colors is from a paint company. A unique feature of this book is that they have 20 shades of purple, 20 shades of blue, 20 shades of red. So red is not one color. In a group, they can recognize that these are all kinds of purple. The very last page has all the colors. Again, makes a beautiful mat to sit on the floor, have 3 or 4 kids crowd around it, and you can ask them to look for something. Or, again, tell me what colors you know. What do you see? You Choose is a very imaginative series. I think there are 4 or 5 books now. The page I want to highlight here is about vocation, about jobs. There are 25 or 30 or so different jobs. And I will put 2 mats together. This is for a bit older, probably upper elementary, including high school. And I will be asking them, what do you want to be? And they can put a token on that space, say, I want to be a superhero, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher. And actually, these are the kind of tokens that I like to use. It's a different kind of game. 1, 2, 3 to the zoo. The last page is a beautiful triple fold out. By doubling the size, you have a gigantic kind of poster, mat to use on the floor, and they can find the 10 different animals, maybe more than 10. Today is Monday. These are about days of the week. Make some nice poster. In the Very Hungry Caterpillar, I did something a little different. I collected the vocabulary bits that I wanted to use. They're actually in order. Again, 3 or 4 can use one mat like this. As I read the story, they can follow with their finger, or as they do, they can say the vocab, or I can have them, find the cheese and put your finger on the cheese. Find the big fat caterpillar. Find the apple. Or I can hold it up and say, what's this? What's this? What's this? My Friends, which I read. I have a poster of all the Friends vocab, and I filled in the English word. If you looked closely, you would see some pictures I made smaller, like the gorilla, and the ant I made bigger to fit onto this kind of grid. If you make a mat or a poster, you might as well take the step further to make cards. These are the 9 animals in Brown Bear. When I visit kindergartens, I like to pair kids up and give them the stack of 9 cards. And as I read the book, they will line them up. So brown bear, and then they filter through, find the brown bear, listen to what I say, and put it there. Red bird, yellow duck. And so they're making the line in the public area, and we can all check that. Okay, those are the cards. Today is Monday, 7 days of the week. Okay, these are the cards I made for my friends. The left side are the friends, the right side are the verbs. And we'll do some encounter activities, and then they make the pair. If they can recall it, if they can recall cat, and then recall what verb, then I give them the card without showing it at the beginning. So they're recalling and making pairs and putting them down. In a group, no one will remember all of them, but almost always, even with small kids, somebody will remember one of them. Eventually getting them all. Okay, if you have cards, then you want dice. And you can load the dice from Brown Bear with that vocab. I will give 2 kids the dice. So they're 3 or 4 years old, even 2 years old. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and roll it. I'll collect the dice to show them what is face up and see if they can say that, or someone in the group can say black sheep, brown bear, and go around the circle to give every pair of kids the chance to say that. Okay. All right, just flip over. This is something unique that came from one particular book, a Japanese artist on whose faces. He made a little plastic slip with a happy face and a sad face, a big version and a small version. And this is a book of just fruit and vegetable. Here you can see a happy pumpkin. I took that and I added angry and sleepy, and this is my result. So we have a angry tomato, sleepy mushroom, happy pear, sad lemon. So this is one of my ways to identify feelings and have them put the feeling word with another object, in this case, fruit and vegetable. The extra page. So often in a book, picture book, you'll feel like something is missing. You'll wish that they included some other picture, even a photo, in the Very Hungry Caterpillar, which we all know. Maybe you want to know, what does an actual one look like? And this is a small poster I made. I tuck into the book. When I pull the book out, I have that. Here's what a butterfly egg looks like, chrysalis, caterpillar, a butterfly. Brown bear, when I read that, I'll also have a little sheet of the actual animals. Not to take away from the drawing, but I think it can sometimes add an element to see a photorealistic version of the animal. The Blind Man and the Elephant may be less familiar, but it's an old story about set in India, where blind men encounter an elephant for the first time. They touch a body part and say, "Oh, I know an elephant is like a spear." The person touching the tusk. The elephant is like a tower, the person touching the leg. Now, this is a story that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. There happened to be an ukiyo-e version that I found. This was created about 350 years ago. With, I'd say high school and up, I'll first show them this picture. And again, tell me, what do you see? I'll have a specific question. What kind of animal is that? Oh, that's an elephant. Why does the elephant look weird? And get their reply. Then I'll go back to the book, read the book, and it's an interesting topic. 30 Minutes Over Oregon. Incredible story set in World War II, true story of the bombing of Oregon that you never heard about. But it actually happened in World War II. This small Japanese plane bombed Oregon. Nothing detonated, no one was killed. After the war, the soldier went back to Japan, had a family, and then that town that was bombed decided to invite the soldier to come there. And with cooperation of the Japanese government, he was able to do that. And he donated his family's samurai sword. Well, they don't show that in the book. So I went online, made a copy. This is him at the age of 18 or 19. Here's the sword in the library, local library of this Oregon town, where people daily will look at that. Well, I want my students to see that when we read the book. Buying Mittens, classic Japanese folk tale about a mother fox teaching her baby how to go into town, into people town, and buy mittens. There's a museum dedicated to the author, and at the museum there's a statue of that mother fox and baby fox, and I thought that was very moving, and I want to include that. Okay, if we have a little extra time, I could take any question that you want to throw at me before I move on.
We just have some comments. Really great. Someone's asking for a list of the books, if they could possibly get it.
Sure. Yeah, the best way to continue communication, if it's not offensive, is go to my Facebook, and I can answer everything publicly as well. Or if they have more of a private question, I can answer to them. Okay.
Yeah, Martin has shared the Facebook group link. That's at the 1322 mark of the chat.
Great.
Mark has also asked, you mentioned encounter activities. Could you talk a little bit more about what those activities look like?
Rather simple, really. The idea to me, and it's not even my idea, it's a student-centered approach, is you give the student something and you have them tell you what they know, what they see, or anything that they experience in that. I do the same thing with just vocabulary word cards. So they're looking at it and giving you input back. So it's a way, I think, to activate their perception instead of just being a receptacle and you're filling up their cup with your information. So you're, I think, validating what they already know and putting it out publicly. So what does it look like? I think very simply, it's here's a picture and tell me what you know, or what can you say? And you're trying to accept as much information from them as you can. If it's kind of in the ballpark, you help to adjust it. If you have a reindeer and they say tonakai, does anyone know that word in English? It sounds like this. Okay, it's a kind of deer, it's a reindeer. So you may help shape the response, but basically you're stimulating them to tell you what they already know and validate and activate their experience. Okay, I want to just add a few more activities. I hope that's useful for you. Making faces. These are popular Japanese books, but frankly, there are a lot of books like this. They're basically a book of blank faces, and in the back there are stickers: eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. and you use it once, you put it on, and like, wasn't that fun? And now the book is over. What I decided to do is I wanted to make that reusable. So I selected some of the faces that I liked from the book or from the variety books. And then I cut out and copied and laminated and Velcroed one sheet of eyes, one sheet of noses, one sheet of ears, one sheet of mouths, and then kind of a bunch of head pieces, caps, hats, hair, ribbon, crowns, antlers. What I will do is have them ask me what they want. Can I have an eye, please? Can I have a nose, please? Then I'll give them that sheet, and then they'll put it onto that face. And we'll take turns until everyone has had their, fifth round, and they've completed the face. I did that a couple days ago and got some of these faces. So, lovely cat, moon critter, Fuji, pumpkin girl, Michael's home. And I will tell you, they laugh, they giggle. We had a lesson with parents recently. I had the parent and child do one together. It's silly, it's fun, but they're getting a lot of they're getting a lot of things said. They're asking the question, and while they, kids have a hard time remembering which is the ear and which is an eye. But the fact that when they say, "Can I have an eye, please?" and I give them the eyes, they're like, "Oh, I wanted the ear. Oh, can I have the ears, please?" It's so fun. This is another picture-based activity I call Shapes of Familiar Objects. It doesn't particularly come from a book, but what I've done is use Google Images to select different shapes: triangle, circle, heart, star, oval, diamond, square, rectangle, whatever. And I can take out the ones that I don't want to use. So I can tailor it to the group that I want to teach. And then I've made this big pile of cards. I'll have them line up, and on the opposite side of the room, I'll have a generic heart, star, square, circle. They line up, I'll show them a random card, and then they will say it. If they get it correctly, I give it to them, then they run back, put it on that marker, and come back into the line. So it's a very, fast-paced, lots of speaking, lots of encountering. And what I really like is that, normally we have a picture of a triangle and a picture of a circle, but these are objects mainly from everyday life. And I believe that they will leave the activity looking at an object and thinking, "Oh, that bug is oval shape, and oh, that item, that books are all rectangles, and the moon is a crescent shape." So I hope that stimulates them to look around at the things that they see every day, but don't really think about the shape. And instead of like, "Oh, this is a circle, this is a star," there are many kinds of stars, different color, different shape, different situation. And it's an activity that I'm always very pleased to do. Okay. One more kind of extra activity. This I really like. Marble choco, a staple of sweets in Japan, contains a sticker. There are 49 stickers, 48 countries. One more is kind of a marquee sticker. And I've taken over, maybe it took me 5 years to collect them. I've taken the tiny sticker and expanded it a little bit on the copy machine, laminated it. And then I actually made, okay, here's the Japan one. And for the kids, I'll even say, "What's this? What's this? Oh, that's the Shinkansen. What's that? Oh, that's Mount Fuji. What's that? Oh, that's something. Some things they don't know what they are." And then you can see at the bottom is the original small size that I made, and then quite a bit bigger. It's so this is the size of the large one. So it's basically a presentation size. I can use that in the classroom and show that. And the smaller cards put down on the floor. And to me, anything that becomes a card has a great variety of games that you can use. Sometimes it's just passing them out. Who has a card that starts with A? And they give it to me. What is that? Argentina. Who has B? Brazil, Belgium. And I might call them in by letter. Put them out on the floor and say, where do you want to go? I want to go to China. I want to go to America. Oh, I want to eat. I want to play. I want to see. I want to buy. I know there are a lot of great country card kind of materials, flags and whatnot. I find this to be a fun way to dig into countries. So those are very quickly the 10 things that I ran through, plus 3 more extra activities. I did start a Facebook group for about 4 or 5 years ago. I introduce a book every week and also invite people to share a book that they love. Not for self-promotion. I'm excluding people who have a book to sell. So I'm hoping for mainly teachers and parents who have a book, love a picture book, and share that, and then a chance to talk about it if people want to. All right.
Thank you so much, David. That was wonderful. Lots of great comments in the chat. Thank yous and wonderful activities. Mike has a question about how would you teach feelings to your young learners?
Well, with all these things, I would say that, you know, the picture book isn't necessarily the heart of teaching something, but I think the picture book can add to it. At my school, we teach, we teach feelings. We start with 4 and teach it with a gesture. You know, I'm happy, I'm hungry, I'm sleepy, I'm okay. And then we have flashcards, song and chant. We do that together. Then when I can, I'll add the kind of feeling book that I showed with the slip on, and then they can say, they can put that slip onto a fruit or vegetable and say, you know, happy tomato, sleepy onion, things like that. But yeah, personally, I prefer song and chant and action, starting with a small pool of feelings and asking them, how are you? And we do happy, hungry, sleepy, okay to start. And then as they get older, add more feelings to that.
Okay, thank you. Another question, do you use tablets or screens? There was one picture amongst there that had a television with a digital picture on there.
Well, actually, that was my own television at home, and I taped the picture to my television to take a picture of it. Oh. At my school, we do have digital books that kids can read at home. In the classroom, I use a real book. You know, it's a bit of an investment to facilitate a library. But I love books, and I think the one very helpful thing is to know what you're looking for. You can encounter a book online and then think, well, that looks really good, but it's $20, and then you buy it and you're like, oh, that wasn't what I wanted. That didn't work. So if you have a budget for 20 or 30 or 40 books, then I would say think about what you want. Let me recommend some great books, again, for a great variety of purposes. For teaching a structure, for encountering vocabulary, lots of different things to do with the book. But to answer your question, yeah, I mainly or almost entirely use actual books rather than digital.
All right, Mark has a question. Says he loved the math activity. We'll try it out in his next lesson. Thank you. And also, how many times would you use a book? You mentioned with my friends going back the next lesson, but beyond that, I mean, do you read it multiple times or space it out, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, we say read a book, but I'm really looking for a book to do an activity with the students. So I don't have much that I would do just reading, but read and listen. So it could be the.
All right, I just moved into the other view.
Okay. So what do I do here? All right. Yeah. So I will. I'm happy to use a book a great number of times. Yeah, depending on your curriculum. If it's a structure that you want to practice, you could come back to it after 3 months even and say, well, let's refresh, let's review this structure. Like my friends, that there's a lot of content in there. So, I mean, I would happily use that probably 3 weeks in a row, not for the whole lesson, but for, 5, 10, 15-minute activity. That can also go into some writing and personal experience. I learned to ride a bike from my daddy. I learned to tie my shoe from my grandma. I learned so they can express what they learned, and you can tie that into family members or friends. My teacher taught me this, my mother taught me that. So, I would look to expand what I'm doing with that book. I don't want them to be, oh, this again. So can you do something fresh with it? Can you build on that?
Mm-hmm. Following up with that, another question is, how many times would you use a book? Or, do you switch up books, like use one a month? Or how many picture books do you use a year?
Oh, that's a hard question. Yeah, I think with think of it like a song. Some songs you might use a lot, and then, or let's say a game that you use. I think with most games, you want to keep it short and keep them wanting more. And then when you bring it back, they're like, yeah, instead of like, oh, not this again. So if you keep the book exciting instead of, oh, we did this, I know this. And some books, frankly, like some of the encounter books, you don't read the whole book. You do a couple pages, close the book, and we'll get back to that next week. If you have children, which I don't, you will have kids who are like, read that book again, and they've memorized it, they love it. So certain books kids can't get sick of, like the Ketchup on Your Cornflakes. That has a lot of variations. You can flip the pages and rematch them, and you have a different book experience every time. Depending on the age, then there are some books like This Is How We Do It. You can move on to personalizing and writing or speaking about themselves, not just about the book. So. Like a good game, I'm looking to keep it short and come back to it and do it in a different way, keep it fresh.
Right. There was an interesting comment you said about the kids. Actually, my own kid loves My Friends. That's like her favorite book to read. But I haven't used them with my students yet because she can understand, learn from and knows all the animals in English, and obviously. But so I really appreciate your example of the extra things, making the copies so that the kids can hold and touch them, and then putting separate things on separate cards. I also like how you separated out the animals for vocabulary, but also the actions, the verbs for vocabulary too. And those would be ways that kids with not, the kind of language ability that a native speaker has, or an advanced student, these very young students can even interact with the books and learn how to use some of the language. I think making that more accessible, not just reading the book, but having that hands-on is really wonderful.
Yeah, My Friends is great. There are 16 friends, 16 infinitive verbs. to see, to sing, to play, to read, to love. You know, there aren't many books that can give you 16 verbs to lay out like that. Yeah, the cards are great. I really, I'm excited when I use them.
Okay, okay. Yeah, okay, there was a question about budgeting time with picture books. I think you got it already, keeping it very short and maybe coming back to it again later, keeping them interested rather than just, you know, overdoing it and then getting bored with the book.
Yeah, I think, you know, as a good teacher, you're doing songs and games and chant and flashcards and moving up and sitting down and going over there. And, you know, I would hope that I would like to encourage people to grow the picture book corner of their lesson, not to fill your class with it, but, you know, look for good picture books that fit your curriculum. And yeah, 3, 4, 5 minutes in a lesson. I think that's a nice variety. I like just the idea alone of bringing art and beauty into the classroom. And, you know, we can't forget that, you know, some kids will love something that other kids don't. And enough variety will keep more kids interested. Yeah, adults too. I love to use picture books with adults.
Well, thank you, David. I just want to say I have seen the Facebook picture group David presented last year, and I caught some of that presentation. The Facebook group is fantastic. There are so many ideas and a lot of teachers sharing ideas. It really inspired me to help expand our own school's library with more picture books. I think we were underutilizing them, but there's so many ideas and you're connecting with other teachers about it. So highly recommended. The Facebook group is in the chat. Just go up a little bit, or you could just find it in a Facebook search. The name of the group is, sorry, one more time, David.
The picture book group.
Picture book group. Hard to forget that one. So, okay. Well, wrapping up on time here. The next presentation is going to start in just a few minutes, actually, 1:55. Yeah, lots of thank yous in the comments. Thank you so much, David. Yeah, I'm going to leave this group, the meeting open for the next presentation. So if you guys want to talk to David at all or get one more question in, please go ahead now.
Yeah.
Other than that, thank you, David. Big round of applause. Virtual, muted. Sorry you won't hear it, but many thank you. Many thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I put a question in about what are your favorite games to play with flashcards?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Is that connected to the, like you're talking about the materials he made with the picture books?
Yeah. So very simply, you had my friend and then the activity, my friend.
I see.
But do you have any other sort of favorite ones that are always sort of crowd pleasers? You know, the last 5 minutes of the lesson.
I feel like some card games I make up while I'm doing it. You know, you as you said, you have that time crunch and like, oh, I've got cards, I've got 90 seconds, what can we do? I don't think anything brilliant comes to mind, but you know, passing them out, making a sentence with it. My friends is really about two sets of cards that are matched. You know, that was one that I did with probably 5th and 6th graders. And they enjoyed trying to remember what goes with what. And it's also funny how they come up with things that are irrelevant, like the bird. The phrase is, I learned to sing from my friends, the birds. And a student said, I learned to fly from my friends, the birds. I said, oh, really?
That's great.
You learned to fly. Or they think they're sure there was a snake or some other animal that wasn't in there. So that's fine. They're thinking of something. They're filling in the blanks in their mind. But they seem to enjoy the orderliness of taking all that data in their head and recalling it, and then I give them the cards, and then they're putting it together, making these neat little lines on the table or on the floor. Somehow they find that very satisfying to like, oh, I knew all that. Now, even though they've forgotten something, they're seeing it. Now they're remembering it, and they see them together. And at the very end, I'll read the book again, more slowly. And there are a few kind of idiomatic things, like I learned to smell the flowers from my friend the butterfly. They don't know that deeper meaning of slowing down to smell the flowers. Or I learned to watch the night sky. Now, why is it not look at the night sky? What can the owl do that I can't do? The owl is all night, and the night sky is moving. You know, that's why I'm watching it. I'm watching the thing move, not just, oh, there it is, and now I'm not. So there are a bit of a nuance, maybe that children don't get all that, but I find it adds a depth to that story.
Do you have small enough classes that you can get them acting out? Like if you're doing the red bird, yellow duck, you know, if you have a really big class, you can't really have all of them running around being birds. But if you have a smaller class, I found that they love to just automatically jump up, I'm a bird, or I'm a horse or something.
Yeah, it's nice. At a certain age, they don't like to do that anymore. But if you can foment like that one or two who really love that, and others will join it. I have both. In my full-time job, I have about 6 to 8 in the classroom. But I also visit kindergartens where I'll have 25 to 30. And it's a different kind of activity, but I do probably in that setting do more picture book work, but also, yeah, I want them to get up and do something.
Do you have, just quickly, do you have any rules? For example, if I'm doing a story to kids and one of them stands up and starts messing around, I'll just close the book and sit quietly. Do you have any tips on how to like control the classroom?
Well, it may be silly, but I will sometimes, if I have the book here, I might tap them on the head with it, on the little love tap, and they're like, oh, sit back down. I think the basic rule is to not touch the book. There are a few books. There's a Learn and Touch series that you can actually touch. It has texture. And that's also why I like to have cards and posters and mats, because I do want them to touch it. I don't want kids to feel like they can't.
Yeah, I think that's my one takeaway, the idea of like really getting a big mat so that students can. Thank you for that. That was a good takeaway for me.
Yeah,
thank you very much. I'm aware of the time now, so I'm going to mute myself. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.